Welcome back to the Cover 2, presented by Tigervision. It's episode 57, I guess season 3 if we even do seasons. I don't think we do seasons.
I guess, but
we're back from a long hiatus. We're back in school. Tests are flying, projects are flying. Grayson's writing an essay, but it does not matter because we're back doing Cover 2.
So back.
We are back. Grayson, how's it feel? Back in the studio.
You know, it feels good. This is going to be probably my last ride, as I'll call it for this.
It's your senior season.
Let's go. Got to make it the best
Unless
one
you got
yet.
a COVID year.
Unless. I don't know if I have a fifth year of eligibility. I think the tuition would probably cripple me, but we'll see. Who knows? But it does feel good to be back in the studio, Patrick, with you once again to talk some NFL football, which is back tomorrow when it releases. We will have Lions-Chiefs game day, Dan Campbell, knee-biting Patrick Mahomes. Question here for you. Did Dan Campbell get Travis Kelce's knee?
That's a good thought right there. Did he send somebody in to the Chiefs practice undercover?
As an agent.
Get the knee out of there. I hear it's just a bone bruise though, which is better than a hyperextension, I think.
You know, fantasy owners everywhere were
I'm stressing
mode.
for sure. I'm stressing for sure. But that's besides the point. Today, we are going to give some, I don't know how bold or spicy these predictions will be. We're going to say they're bold predictions. We're each going to give 3. We're going to then, at the end, talk about some games we're excited for this season. But, yeah, three bold predictions each. You want to go first?
Yeah, well, we'll start with some bold takes. And all right, I'm going to actually, so I have them like leveled, but I realized if I'm going to go first, this is a doozy to start with.
Okay.
So I'm going to play it safe.
What's the spicy meter here?
The spicy,
out of 10?
all right, I'm going to start with the spicy
the Buffalo
meter.
Wild Wings range.
Oh, I don't know all the sauces.
I don't either.
I'm going to give this spicy take a 5.5 out of 10.
Okay.
And my first prediction for this Cover 2 year is that the AFC North will have 3 playoff teams.
Oh, I like that.
We'll have the Cleveland Browns with Deshaun Watson, the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson, and your Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Shiesty.
Okay. So no Steelers.
No Steelers. So this was for me, I chose quarterbacks in this case. I think Deshaun Watson, and he hasn't really been off to the greatest start with his Cleveland Browns career. It felt like he was a little rusty, unsure of himself, but at his best, we've seen him play phenomenally, top 5 quarterback in this league. If you can get to somewhere of a middle ground with that Browns roster, I think this should be a playoff team easily. Then the Ravens, they added Odell Beckham. Lamar gets his number 1 guy. Lamar's he's got his contract now. If they can stay healthy, they could probably make a postseason run, a deep postseason run. And then, of course, the Bengals, one of the top premier teams in the AFC. They're my division winner, so they'll be a shoo-in for the playoffs. Okay,
so yeah, I wanna get your thoughts on the Steelers since
yes,
you're having them finish 4th. They never finished 4th in this division.
But I still think they could probably finish 9-8 or 10-7. This AFC, and this is probably going to be a topic for a long. This is going to be a topic for a long time. This AFC is loaded, and so the Steelers, who are a great football team and a quarterback that I actually really like in Kenny Pickett, they just might get left out. And when it comes down to it, it could come down to Kenny Pickett against Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett against Lamar Jackson, Kenny Pickett against Joe Burrow. And if that is what it comes down to, potentially divisional tiebreakers, divisional games, I just think that those 3 teams are better, even if the Steelers outside of that do really well.
Yeah. I like that take. I think this is probably the best division in the league.
I think so.
And I was looking through a week or so ago, trying to figure out what I thought would happen in the AFC playoffs, because the AFC is stacked. There's a solid 10 to 12 teams that could make the playoffs.
To be honest with you, if the Steelers had like a 9-8 record in the NFC, they probably are 6 or 7 seed.
Yeah, I think Kenny Pickett is probably going to take a step. The second-year jump that a lot of QBs have. I think their roster is really good, and they have Mike Tomlin, who, like you're talking about, just picking QBs to see who would finish 3rd. Mike Tomlin over Kevin Stefanski, I think, is a bit of a gap. So I don't know if I would pick 3 AFC North teams. I think it'd be close, and I think I'd personally have the Steelers. 1, because of Mike Tomlin. 2, because what's that Cleveland Browns defense going to look like?
I just have so much faith in what Myles Garrett can bring to the table, and I don't think their secondary is as bad as it could potentially be. I'm a little worried about the middle of that with their linebackers, but I think Cleveland this is gonna be a season of make it or break it for Deshaun. The controversy's out of it's not gone away, but we're plenty removed from it, so it's time to really refocus and retool that. He's got Amari Cooper, he's got Elijah Moore, he's got Donovan Peoples-Jones, who I think is pretty underrated across the league.
I would agree with that. Only 24 years old.
Yes.
Feels like he's been in the league forever.
Nick Chubb is still around. So this Browns offense should be high-flying, even if the Browns defense struggles a little bit out of the gate.
Yeah, I like the take. I don't know if I completely agree. I think I'd put the Steelers in over the Browns, but that's just, I'm not a big fan of the Browns in general.
Yeah, I feel that.
If Deshaun Watson, off the field issues aside, of course, but if he comes back playing like he was, it has been 3 years at this point. So if he looks rusty out of the gate, I'm gonna be, I don't know. It may be one of those, I don't know if he has it anymore. But
yeah.
Regardless, I like the take.
Thank
AFC
you.
North, I think, could very easily get 3 teams in.
Would you put that as a 5.5 out of 10?
Yeah, I think that's a
Spicy?
5.5 out of 10.
I think next time we do the spicy meter rating, I need to have the Buffalo Wild Wings sauces ready to go.
We should.
So the folks at
I can
home
pull it up
understand.
right now, actually.
Okay,
but
okay.
That's a good first take.
Okay.
Wow, I can't do 2 things at once. Trying to talk and type at the same time is difficult. Okay, the sauce chart here. I don't know if you want to look at it. It's, maybe in the sizzling range here.
Yeah,
The spicy garlic.
I'd say the low sizzling because
Okay.
it's you can get people can get behind the take, but also at the same time they're like, oh
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe a little spicy garlic there, Asian zing, something like that.
Okay, I like that.
I haven't had Buffalo Wild Wings in a while.
haven't either.
But anyways, we should take a trip there. Anyways, I guess I'll go ahead and say my first one. Which one do I go with first? I'll go with Trevor Lawrence is going to win MVP.
Oh.
So, he took a large step in 2022. I think he's solidified himself as a top 10 quarterback. He struggled his first year, but towards the end, he kind of got things going, and then into 2022, him plus Doug Peterson, fantastic. They won the playoff game. They came back against the Chargers. What was it, 24, 27 points?
Unreal.
Something like that. A lot of points, even though he had 4 first-half interceptions. But this year is going to take another step, become a top 5 QB, become the generational prospect. I mean, he's been a generational prospect for a
Generational
while,
hair, too.
But he's going to, really turn into that top 5, top of the league elite quarterback.
Okay.
I saw something earlier. Steven Ruiz, if you know who he is, he's with The Ringer. He was talking about T-Law's preseason. His average time to throw was 2.11 seconds, and his average depth of target was over 9 yards an attempt. So he was getting the ball out quick, and he was getting it downfield, which is 2 things you love to see. He's going to avoid more sacks, and they're going to push the ball downfield, especially with the addition of Calvin Ridley. I think they've got a really, really good weapons room.
Would you like to bet on that? See what I did there?
I did.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. It took me a second. I was trying to stall and think about what you were doing there, but I like it. I think this would, especially where Trevor Lawrence is in like the MVP odds. I think this would be a fantastic bet. He's gonna have another year with Doug Peterson, Dougie P. Let's not forget Carson Wentz was near MVP level back a few years ago with Philly with Doug Peterson. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is going to take that, next step. He's going to really solidify himself as one of the top QBs in this league.
I honestly, so I'm going to tell you something. That was one of them, but I had a 4th one ready to go because I thought that is going to be a common.
I think it is a little common.
Because I think the Jaguars have an easy schedule too, especially within their division.
Yep.
And a lot of the teams that they play that could present challenges, they have to come to Jacksonville, which for certain teams on that schedule, that's a electric environment now. People are excited. The fan base is reinvigorated into the community. It's going to be a fun watch for Jacksonville.
I think they'll win the division. And I'm going to be honest, I think they might get to the AFC Championship.
Ooh, Patrick,
That's another little thing I had maybe to plant in there, and you know what? I'll go with it.
I like it.
The Jaguars get to the AFC Championship.
And MVP.
Yep.
Okay, I like
they have
those
a fantastic
some spice.
season.
I'm going to put some more spice into our takes cup right here.
Yep. The only thing is that defense could be a little shaky. They don't have I mean, they have Josh Allen, but they don't have the elite pass rusher. So maybe they get a Brian Burns or something. You know, Joey Bosa just signed a contract actually like an hour ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's happening. A trade is happening, but you know, maybe they get a Chris Jones or someone. I don't know, but
I like that take.
yeah,
I really do.
There we go. All right.
Now, do we want to snake this or do you want me to go?
Whatever you want to do. I can go again if you want. We can snake this.
I'll go ahead and go. I'm going to get all Brian Windhorst in here. You remember there was the certain moves that the Jazz made.
Okay.
And Brian Windhorst was going, why is this happening? And he was pointing the fingers. You can see the meme now in your brain. So a certain quarterback that just got traded this offseason to the New York Jets took a uncharacteristic contract cut. He took a pay cut, ladies and gentlemen.
He did.
Why did he do that? You know, Aaron Rodgers is not really one that I've been a big fan of, but I've been watching Hard Knocks. I've seen what he's done this offseason, and he's becoming likable. Now, that's not my hot take, but on the other side of the country, there's a certain wide receiver that could get disgruntled by a trade deadline. And this prediction is two of them. I think the Raiders are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year.
Okay.
And I think before the trade deadline, we could see Josh McDaniels get fired by the Raiders. This division's getting harder. I like Jimmy Garoppolo, but I think he's just a handsomer version of Derek Carr when it all comes down to it. The roster's practically the same. I know Max Crosby's also tired of losing, but it's going to get incredibly more difficult. And I could see the Jets making a move to trade for Davante Adams and get Aaron Rodgers, another premium wide receiver in the Meadowlands. So there it is. Josh McDaniels is going to get fired, and Davante Adams will be a New York Jet.
So do you think this is going to be because their wide receiver core isn't good enough with Garrett Wilson?
I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to have a lot of power in this room, and I think the Jets are going to have a slow start, actually. I don't really love their tackle situation. They play a lot of good teams with pass rush. They're going to face Von Miller, Micah Parsons, Matthew Judon. They're going to face a lot of really solid pass rush teams. They're going to be off to a slow start. Maybe they see that adding Davante Adams, and now I know I just noted they have a left tackle, right tackle problem. They go get a receiver. But I think maybe they start to find themselves getting a rhythm, and they boost that with a player like Davante. Now they have the cap space to do it with Rodgers' pay cut.
Yeah, the Garrett Wilson stands would absolutely hate that.
They would,
the
but
Garrett
the
Wilson
Jets would be
Offensive Player of the Year.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, they would have, I think, I mean, between them two, they'd have the best 1-2 duo in the league.
That's right.
You know, you have your Bengals with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. You have the Dolphins with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But I think Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson would trump that. I just, like you said, I just don't know if, I can definitely see Davante Adams getting disgruntled. I can see the Raiders being bad.
And Chandler Jones is already disgruntled over there.
That's true. I just don't know if the Jets being bad, I don't know if the receivers could be an issue, but Aaron Rodgers already has some of his guys. He has Allen Lazard. He has Randall Cobb. Corey Davis, he did retire. But I think Garrett Wilson is going to be enough mixed in with, the tight ends they have in C.J. Uzomah, Tyler Conklin, even a Jeremy Ruckert to get way down on the depth chart. They have Dalvin Cook. They have Breece Hall. I think they have enough weapons in the skill position group to be a good offense. It is just that offensive line, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
I think they'd be more likely to try, and I don't know which offensive lineman would be available. I think it'd be more likely that they try and bolster that position group.
Yeah, and I could see that, but I was looking through the market of potential tackles that could trade it, and I just don't see a ton. And you would know as much as anybody else too, is if the Jets were 3-4, 2-5 at that trade deadline, the New York media is going to be pouncing on them. And a move like that could potentially ease some nerves there. Now, do I think the Jets are going to be 2-5? No, I think they'll be pretty solid to start the season. And this is why we have the bold takes here. So I thought so that I'd combine the two into one.
I think it could definitely happen. I think if Davante Adams is going to get traded, that would be the first option that everybody points to. Oh, he's going to go back to the Jets. But I like it.
Let's see what you got, Patrick.
My second pick here. I'm trying to figure out. I think the last one I'll say probably isn't the spiciest one.
Oh, then go with that one first.
Okay. But I don't know how much I believe in this one, to be honest with you, or how much I'm just wish casting that this happens, but the Bengals win the Super Bowl. Jamar Chase, Offensive Player of the Year.
Oh.
They win the Super Bowl after adding some sort of mid-season piece to put them over the top.
Okay.
You know, it could be like a Brian Burns situation, even though he's starting to get disgruntled. Maybe it's a defensive tackle position. They got a DJ Reader's a free agent after this season. Chidobe Awuzie is a free agent after this season. So maybe it's a piece in the secondary, but I think they're going to start the year. Joe Burrow was out this whole training camp, unfortunately, with a calf issue. So I think they're going to do kind of what they have the last few seasons, where it takes them a second to get into it. You know, the secondary, it's really young. You have Dax Hill, you have Cam Taylor-Britt, you have DJ Turner, all, you know, kind of starting to learn how to play the position in the NFL. But I think towards the second half of the season, they find their groove. They know they just want to get to the playoffs at this point. They're a team like the Chiefs where they don't care as much about the regular season. They just want to get to the playoffs. They're really good. Lou Anarumo is fantastic in the playoffs. I think they add some sort of piece midway that puts them over the top. And yeah, I think this is likely the Bengals' last best chance to win the Super Bowl, if that makes sense. Because I think last year could have been fantastic. I think last year was probably, them being in the Super Bowl, they were a few plays away from winning it. So that was obviously
they
their
were
best
almost
chance.
pretty much like ahead of schedule at that point.
Yeah, exactly. But last year they had a fantastic chance if they didn't lose to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. I think this year, DJ Reader is probably not going to get re-signed. They're hopefully going to re-sign Burrow and T. Higgins soon. So they'll most likely lock them down. But DJ Reader will probably be gone after this year, I would think. Chidobe Awuzie, he's 28, coming off an ACL tear. They've put a lot into the secondary in the draft recently, so I think he might be gone after this year. And I think Lou Anarumo, who is one of the best defensive coordinators in this league, is likely gone for a head coaching job next year, especially if they have another successful season where you can see how he's able to adapt to all the top QBs in this league. So I think this is their best chance. The Bengals, who aren't known for spending money, they're like, you know what, we see the writing on the wall. It's not that we're going to be bad after the season like the Rams were, but this is potentially our best opportunity. You know, the Chiefs maybe they struggle a little bit, and I think, Brown family goes, let's go get a piece. Some some disgruntled player midway through the season is like, I don't know if I want to be in this spot anymore. I'll go to Cincinnati. So
yeah, I like that. And the Bengals did start 0-2 last year, if I'm not mistaken. They almost have like a little bit of Patriots in them from the dynasties past, where they would start 2-2, start a little slow, get things figured out, use September as that extension of the preseason, and then they hit the ground running in October. And I could definitely see this, especially with Kansas City, their receiving core. We don't know what that's going to look like necessarily.
Especially with Kelsey out.
Yeah, Justin Ross could be an emerging star, though, to watch
fantastic.
for. The Buffalo Bills, Stephon Diggs, the news, the trade rumors, that might be a name to watch for as well.
Yeah, I don't know if they'd go trade for another wide receiver because they're pretty deep right now.
No,
Tyler
not
Boyd's
the
on the
Bengals.
list.
I'm just saying, for the Bills situation.
I got you.
The Bengals are right there as one of the top teams, and maybe it could be Bengals-Jags. That'd be an interesting AFC Championship. I do like that on the spicy meter.
Yeah.
So my final one is a fun one.
Okay.
So I saw a report I was walking home from class that a certain USC quarterback would not potentially enter the draft. They didn't like his situation.
Yep.
And I'm sure Caleb Williams has watched a clip or two of Mr. Jonathan Gannon, and he's probably face-palming with the rest of us. And I look at who they're putting out there at quarterback, who just got there 2 weeks ago for week 1, and then I took a look at their schedule, Patrick. And I don't think I like them in a single game. So my prediction is the Arizona Cardinals will be our first 0-17 football team.
Wow, okay.
I really don't love this roster. I don't love the quarterback situation. And I thought I saw a report that Kyler Murray may not come back at all this year. And so if you have Josh Dobbs with this roster, no disrespect to Josh Dobbs, I think smart human, smart guy.
The Pastronaut.
Yes.
I heard that nickname a week ago.
Awesome.
Fantastic nickname.
Now I'd love to be proven wrong, but just some of the teams that they play, the Commanders, solid pass rush, could be rough as he's trying to learn the offense. The Giants, Cowboys, 49ers, your Bengals, the Rams, Seahawks. The list goes on of the teams they have to play this year. So I could definitely see this team going 0-17 and Caleb Williams saying, how much eligibility do I have at USC?
That's interesting. I like the take. I mean, I don't think the Cardinals are going to win many games this year. I would put it there that they would win at least one, but
I hope.
I like that you're going for a record-setting year from the Arizona Cardinals.
I am. Not in the way you'd want to start, though.
No, Jonathan Gannon, I think he is minus so many odds to be the first. If there's a new head coach that's going to get fired, it's going to be him.
Oh yeah.
I think most likely. You probably saw the recent video clip of him trying to,
He couldn't
hype up the team, talking about school buses or whatever.
Yeah,
How'd you get to work today? But it was not good.
I just sat there like I did when we had Carrying On with the Daniel Jones stuff, and just like,
It did not look great. Hollywood Brown did not look excited at all to be there in the bucket hat. But yeah, the Arizona Cardinals are not going to be great. I don't know. I feel like Kyler is going to want to come back. The competitive edge in him and show what he has left if once he finishes rehabbing. If he wants to get out of there, he wants to increase his trade value maybe. But that's a funny one. I like it. The 0-17 Arizona Cardinals.
I wanted to save that one for a special occasion. So
that's a good one. I like that. Yeah. Okay. My last one. Again, I don't know if this is super. I could make it more spicy, but I'm gonna say Falcons not only win the NFC South.
Oh.
They go 11-6 and win a playoff game.
The Desmond Ritter narrative will never die on this show.
Arthur Smith will also win Coach of the Year.
Yes. Falcons faithful.
Yeah. So I think. Even if Desmond Ritter isn't good, I don't know at this point if he is going to be good. But he went 2-2 last year. Mariota was not good. I think Desmond Ritter is going to be an upgrade. That division is weak. One of if not the weakest.
If the AFC North is the best division that football has to offer, this one might be the worst.
Yeah, I think it's a toss-up between them and the AFC South, although the AFC South have the Jaguars. So I think this is going to be an easy division. They have the easiest schedule. In the schedule rankings, they have the easiest schedule.
Right.
So there's a lot of opportunity there. They have a top 10 weapons room. I think there's a lot of interesting weapons. They're going to lean on this run game. They have Bijan. They have Tyler Algier, who was a 1,000-yard rusher as a rookie last year. So
pleasant surprise.
They won't necessarily have to lean on Bijan to be a 3-down back early, although I think he can do it. They have Cordero Patterson, who you can put anywhere. They have Drake London. They have Kyle Pitts. They have Mac Hollins, who is yoked now.
Yeah, that was out of nowhere.
They have the most, I won't say the most versatile weapons group because you have the 49ers, but I think probably second.
And they spent a lot of money this offseason to bolster that defense, which was a weak spot. They brought in a guy like Calais Campbell, who still has some good stuff left in him.
Bud Dupree?
Yes. They got him for good value as well. So I thought that Atlanta spent, but they spent wisely.
Yeah.
And they're going all in with a young quarterback, which is what you should do. And when you have a bunch of talented players like Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson on rookie contracts, you got to go and find players that can contribute. And they're doing it at the right value, and they're doing it the right way. So I could definitely see Atlanta in a weak division that has Baker Mayfield, Bryce Young with no offensive line, and Derek Carr, who one day he's on, one day he's not. We could see. And I'm not too sold on Dennis Allen, as I've said before.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Saints, you mentioned the defense. They bring in Ryan Nielsen, who's from the Saints, did a lot of great work with Cam Jordan, Trey Hendrickson. This team has been lacking pressure on the defensive line for a few years now. They have Grady Jarrett. They have some tools, but I think it's going to get better. I think this defense is going to be better. They went and got Jesse Bates in free agency. They went and got Jeff Okudah, who has flashed in some moments. If he can be more consistent, they could have something there. But yeah, I think this defense is going to be better. This offense, it's zigging when everybody else is zagging. Really leaning on that run game. Arthur Smith does not care about your fantasy team, so he's gonna get offense however he can get it. And yeah, I think they're gonna look really good, really solid throughout this entire season. Arthur Smith is gonna go on to win Coach of the Year. And yeah, I think the way this team is built is built for success. I think they're a very solid floor team.
Yeah. I'd also, you mentioned weapons. I'd also keep an eye out for Jonnu Smith, who got traded from New England, who Arthur Smith was able to utilize very well.
Exactly.
Unfortunately for me, that didn't work out in New England. But I think you saw the athleticism when he got the ball.
Yeah.
It's just that they didn't give it to him enough.
Bill Belichick just wasn't able to utilize him correctly.
He was able to utilize the spending that they had.
Yeah.
He spent way too much.
Hunter Henry. Another forgotten
Hunter Henry.
tight end. Maybe he's the addition that the Bengals need when Irv Smith
Hunter Henry,
gets
I hope
injured
he stays, 'cause
inevitably
he's been pretty
again.
solid.
Yeah, but anyways, that is my last one.
That is our bold takes. So before we wrap up, do we want to kind of get some week 1 matchups that we're excited about? Maybe a couple.
What's your favorite game this weekend?
So now this is going to be pretty low-hanging fruit because of the fandom here, but this is the Tom Brady ceremony in Foxborough. I think the Patriots are going to get killed, but I'm very excited just to have the Brady and New England thing back.
So your game of the week is the Patriots getting killed.
No, my game of the week is Bills-Jets.
Okay.
That's going to be a fun Monday night matchup. I just was listing some off, but my favorite one is going to be the Bills and the Jets. Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers. There's going to be a lot of points. It's probably not going to be like a Colorado TCU type thing, but I think it's a game that you can't miss. It reminds me of what was the matchup? It was Rams and Chiefs, where it was just one game you didn't want to see end.
Fair. I like it. I'm a big fan. This Dolphins-Chargers game I think is going to be fun. See how the new offensive coordinator and Kellen Moore does it with the Chargers, with Justin Herbert, see how much it's changed. I think Mike Williams has the opportunity to be really good this year with Kellen Moore. I think kind of assert himself as the wide receiver 1 with Keenan Allen getting older. The Dolphins, see how they look with Mike McDaniel, this new defense, which I think is going to be really, really good.
Big Fangio.
They got a lot of good players on that team. I think another one as well, 49ers Steelers.
I could see that being a fun 13-17 type matchup where offense isn't going to be a premium, but it's going to be a very high football IQ game. Very old-fashioned.
I think a lot of people are going to expect the 49ers to win this one. Potentially easily as well. However, I think the Steelers are going to be, they always are a tough team to play with Mike Tomlin. You see the Steelers, you think of, this is just a tough team to get by, regardless of how good they are every year. But I think the Steelers could potentially upset them here. I don't like saying that as a Bengals fan. However, I'm looking at it, and I think the Steelers are unfortunately going to be a good team this year.
Unfortunately for you, man.
But yeah, those are the 2 games. We've got Lions Chiefs on Thursday night, which is going to be fantastic.
Do we want to make the pick for that game since it's airing on game day?
Yeah, I guess. I think a lot of people are going to pick Lions.
Yeah.
Another take I thought about saying was I think everybody's picking the Lions to win. I think the Packers might win the division. With Jordan Love. I think,
That was one you should have led with. That's scolding over there.
I don't know.
It's getting hot.
Well, I don't think it's that hot. They still have a good team. Matt LaFleur has a fantastic record as a head coach. They're going to be able to, Aaron Rodgers obviously he won't have a hold on the offense. He's not there anymore. But it's going to be less of Aaron Rodgers' offense and more of Matt LaFleur's offense. And I think Jordan Love is going to be pretty solid at conducting that offense.
Picking against America's team, I see.
What am I saying? The defense has they spent a lot of first-round picks. The defense has a lot of talent. Can they put it all together? I think a lot of people are going Lions, easy. But I think the Lions will still be good. I think they'll still make the playoffs. But I think the Packers might squeeze it out, and it would be hilarious because Aaron Rodgers left and they still win the division.
And they still have a great quarterback if that's the case.
Yep. But yeah, I think I'll probably go Chiefs for
I
this game. just
still
because
think. I mean, have you seen Mahomes'
it's
stats in
Mahomes.
Week 1?
It's Mahomes.
It's ridiculous.
It's Mahomes. It doesn't matter.
Without Travis Kelce, with Travis Kelce, Andy Reid and Mahomes will find a way.
Yep.
I think the Lions put on a good show everybody that they belong, but I'm going to take Kansas City.
I like it. I like it. But that is going to do it for this episode of The Cover 2 presented by Tigervision. We want to thank you for tuning in. Sorry that it's taken a minute for us to get back to y'all, but we should be here Tuesday for Grayson's swan song, basically, his final season. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in.
We're going to say that every week.
Let us know your hot takes. Go ahead and subscribe, like, do all that kind of stuff.
Press all the buttons.
And we'll see you next week. Have a good one.